morning, everybody, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 90 in Oakland and Livingston County, Comcast 91 in Detroit. 24 hours a day and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. And I know I have people from England watching us today because they already told me they're going to be doing that. I am so excited. But before I tell you who my first guest is, I'm going to tell you, I want to send my condolences to the White family for Maurice White, who created Earth, Wind, and Fire. He was the founder of it, and he passed away yesterday. And God bless him, and God bless his family, and may he rest in peace. Now, you heard me play, or Sean play, What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. Well, that song is very close to my heart. I'm not even going to tell the story about it, but it is my pleasure this morning to have Mr. Paul Reiser, the writer of that song, here, and a Motown legend and a former funk brother. Well, I guess once a funk brother, always a funk brother.
Always a funk brother for life.
And I have been trying to get this man on my show for 2 years, so I am really, really excited. So, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. It's glad to be here.
You know, we're going to let the audience know about the wide range of your reach and the people you've worked for, but let's do a little history here. You were born and raised in Detroit?
Absolutely, yes. Southeast Detroit. Well, I was born on Du Bois Street, Pierce Street at Du Bois, and moved on the east side, Navajo, at age of 5, and from that point, just attended school there on the east side, Keating Elementary, Folks Junior High, and then went to Cass Tech. Yeah.
Well, when did you get interested in music?
Well, I was at the age of 7. That's when I picked up my first instrument.
What
trombone.
was that? Oh, trombone?
Trombone. Oh, yes.
Was anyone else in your house a musician?
My mother.
Oh,
Mother
really?
was a keyboard player. My oldest brother, William, he was also a keyboard player. So it was music in the house all the time.
Okay.
Yes.
And then when you went to Cass, you majored in music, right?
Yes.
You were in that
Yes.
curriculum.
Yes.
But this was kind of different because you were in classical music, right?
Oh, yes. Classical first, and then I picked up jazz in junior high school. Well, I had an older brother, Van, who passed away some years ago. But he was my inspiration as far as picking up classical music and jazz. He was a great trumpet player.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you picked up the trumpet after him.
The trombone.
Trombone. Oh,
Yeah,
I know. Trombone it
Yes.
goes like that. Yeah.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
All right. I was a drama teacher, so I don't know all that.
But I don't know why I picked up trombone, because the arm has to go all the way to 7 positions. Then my arm was too short to make the 7th position. I went to the 6th position for many years, maybe 2 or 3 years before I could actually reach that 7th position.
So after high school, what happened to you?
Well, there was a friend of mine who preceded me out of Cass Tech, Dale Warren, a very good friend of mine, viola player, and classical and jazz. He played all the music. But he preceded me into Motown. And they needed a trombone player one day, and they called me. I hated R&B music. I got to tell you,
You hated R&B.
I hated it, thoroughly. But once I got down there and sat down in that hot seat.
How old were you?
I was 17, going on 18, actually.
Do you remember the song?
Oh no. We played so many. It was I tell you whose song it was. It was one of Stevie Wonder's songs. Clarence Pauling was the producer and writer, and Stevie was 11, maybe 11 going on 12 when I met him.
Wow. Wow. So they called you down to Motown to play trombone. Did you feel intimidated or anything?
Well, no, because I've kind of frowned on R&B music See, I was one of those snobbish classical musicians, okay? But I learned to respect it because it takes so much chemistry to make all that music work together. We did our horns at the same time, our rhythm section at the same time. Uh, in the rhythm section, yeah, I think you might know what the rhythm section is, right? The drums, bass,
Right, I
guitars,
do.
and the
Yeah.
pianos and all that. We did all that with the horns and the trumpets and the trombones and the saxophones all in one room at one time. See, yeah, in
Yeah,
the
in
beginning.
that Studio A or whatever.
Studio A, the snake pit, as they called it.
Right. That
Yes,
was I've been in that
yes,
room once. It's been
yes,
so many years since
yes,
I took this tour. But
yes.
so you were down there now arranging. You did a lot of arranging. How did you
Hmm.
first tell our audience what is arranging?
Well, a lot of people confuse arranging and orchestration, and orchestrator is an arranger, but an arranger is not always an orchestrator. Or an orchestrator is one who puts the music on the paper with pen and
Right.
pencil on the paper
Does
for
the
the musicians,
charts?
does the charts. But an arranger, you could be an arranger.
How
Anybody
could
can be
a
an arranger. You come in with ideas and feelings that you can express to music people. That makes you an arranger. You're doing arranging. See? Oh yeah.
now two songs that you worked on? One was I heard it through the grapevine with Gladys Knight and the Pips, and the other one was I heard
Marvin
it through
Gaye.
the grapevine with Marvin
That's
Gaye.
correct. Hmm.
What did you do on those songs?
Well, with Gladys, I did what they call sweetening, which is like the horns and strings on top. But uh, Norman Whitfield, great producer writer, did the rhythm section, and then he would call me in to do the sweetening, put the icing on top, so to speak. You know, like icing on a cake.
Yes,
Okay.
and what was the,
Now,
I was just trying to see. Yeah, okay, you put the icing
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So what did that mean? You
Well,
did.
the foundation was already done.
Okay.
Okay, meaning the rhythm track was done. The bass, drums, the guitars, and the piano and percussion that was already done. So he needed something to go on top, and so he called me in to do that.
Okay.
Okay,
So what did you
and
add?
I added like the horns and strings for both artists.
Okay.
Marvin Gaye's version, the timing wasn't good for Marvin Gaye's version, so they put it on the shelf for 3 years, and they put Gladys Knight's version out first, as you
Oh,
remember.
okay. Yes,
Yes,
I had heard that. I
yes.
heard that. Yes.
And Marvin sat on the shelf for three years. And when they released it, it was bigger than Gladys's would ever
I
dream of
know,
being.
I
See?
know. We
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
Gladys's was the bomb, and then
And then
next
Marvin.
Marvin came out. We
Yes,
said, "What
yes.
is that?"
That's
Now,
right.
did you have anything to do with arranging Marvin's
Oh
version?
yes, oh yes. I did the sweetening on that also, which is the strings and the horns and
Okay, the strings.
hmm.
It seems like you're really interested in those strings
Oh,
because
I
I've
enjoy
listened to a
strings.
lot of songs that you have arranged and
Yes,
conducted. Even with Papa, it was a Rolling Stone.
yes,
That
yes,
long beginning, you could hear
yes,
the strings. They create
yes.
some malevolence. I mean, a darkness.
That's right. That's right. It's an energy that they and the tension that they bring to a song. If you do them right,
Yeah.
you know. Now when I did Papa Was a Rolling Stone, I applied a lot of my classical training to that.
It sounds like it,
Yes.
though.
Hmm.
You could hear that. You could hear that. So, an interesting story that I heard was the fact that when the Temptations were given My Girl, they didn't care for it. Would you tell the audience about that?
Well, the story went as Otis tells me, and he tells the story on tour every time they do the song. That Smokey brought the song to him, and they said, "Okay, my girl, okay, we'll do it, Smokey. You know, we'll do it because they were, actually were compelled to do it because they're under contract." So they heard it and they said, "Well, it's just a song. It's a mediocre song." But then Smokey had me to put the strings on that, And what Otis says, he says it brought the whole song to life. That's the way he put it.
Yeah,
In
it
no uncertain
does.
terms,
It
just brought it to
does.
life. You know.
It does. And that song has been, in fact, on the radio this morning, I heard it.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
said, I know those strings.
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
know those
yes.
strings.
We had a good time. You know,
So,
we used the symphony players, Detroit Symphony. We didn't use
right,
mediocre players.
right.
I always used the best players.
Excellent. And you could tell, you really could tell because there's so many layers to Motown music.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
layered. And I always, it's always been a mystery to me. How do they do that?
Well, that's
Now,
the chemistry. You see, Motown had a way of putting people together. Well, Barry had a uncanny knack for picking talent. He knew talent, raw talent. He could just sense it, and he always had an open door policy as far as developing that talent, developing a person's creativity. And no other company's done it like he did it. No other company in history.
that was so magical.
Yes.
Now, with What Becomes of the Brokenhearted, um, I don't know, that song was just, it's just beautiful. And how did that come about? Why don't you talk about that?
Well, I used to sit at the piano, which I just pick out chords. I don't really play, all right? But I get my chord structures together at the piano. And so I had chords that I took to a session. It was a session for I think it was for the Spinners. No, I take that back. It was for Jimmy Ruffin. Jimmy Ruffin. And see, each recording session is like 3 hours long, okay, according to union structure and all that, union laws. So
Did you try to get done with the whole song in one session, or how
no,
many
no, no, no,
sessions?
no, no.
Okay,
There were 3 songs.
okay.
Well, 2 songs primarily, and they finished an hour early. So that left me time to do my chords. No name, nothing, just chords. So William Weatherspoon says, "Well, okay, let me hear it." And the musicians picked it up real quick, real easy, and we got it done in an hour.
Well, when you say chords, how
Yes.
did are they chords as we know them on the piano? Dun dun dun. You know.
Well, no, those chords are very different. See, they're not they're not what you call tonic chords for the most part. The song never reaches a tonic chord. There's always inversions and color tones in there, but it never reaches the tonic. It's in the key of B flat, but it never reaches a B flat tonic chord. Never.
Okay, so I must remind the audience or tell the audience that for Papa Was a Rolling Stone, you received a Grammy.
Yes, yes, yes. And that was the one and only, but all you need is one in life.
You should have
Yes,
gotten 50
yes.
Grammys.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
would have been nice.
I mean, because I think about the fact, and maybe it was because we grew up in Detroit. Because,
Yes,
like, for example, yesterday was Rosa Parks' birthday.
yes,
So,
yes.
all of us, so many of us on Facebook, yes, the old ladies on Facebook, put pictures of ourselves with Rosa Parks.
Yes,
The fact that we were in Detroit, we were around icons.
yes, yes.
Motown was like the major icon
That's right.
because in Detroit, well, we had one black station that was one WCHB,
Exactly.
and we had the other stations that didn't play all black music.
I
So
think that station called the number was 1440, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
1440.
Yes,
AM.
and I remember
Joan
Jotun
Joe
Joe
Howard.
Howard
Yeah.
and Ernie Durham.
Ernie Durham, Frantic Ernie Durham.
Frantic
That's
Ernie
right.
Durham, I
Yeah.
used to get so mad because he talked so long. I said, play the
Yes, yes,
music,
yes, yes,
play
yes,
the
yes.
music.
Yes,
But we were
yes.
able, they helped us get exposed to Motown
Oh,
as,
absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
on a continuous basis. And we all,
Oh, they
we,
loved Motown.
yes, yes. And so with the studio, I'm going to go back to the studio and
Okay.
I'm going to go back to a song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Tell us
Okay.
about that.
Ashford and Simpson, great writing team. They came to Motown. Valerie Simpson was 19. Nick Ashford was 24, I think, 24. And they came fresh. I mean, they brought a fresh approach to music. a classical foundation is what they brought to me, and it was like a refreshing change for me, very refreshing. Of course, there's Stevie Wonder and Smokey and the great writers Holland Dozier Holland, but Ashford and Simpson were very different,
Yeah.
and they changed the sound of Motown. Actually,
Yeah. So they ain't no mountain high enough. So they wrote that and they sang that.
well,
They did
they
sing it.
they they
No, they
no no
didn't
no no
sing
no
it.
no no no.
Marvin Gaye
Marvin
sang
Gaye.
it with Tammy Terrell.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Two virgins there also.
Yes.
Diana Ross and Marvin and Tammy.
Did you work on both of them?
Both of them. I did both of those from the ground up. Everything.
So you did the arrangements?
The whole arrangement. And
Oh, so
conducted
what?
both
How
of
did
them.
you come up with? Okay, here the first one, Marvin and Tammy's was kind of upbeat.
Well, the producers they direct you in a certain way. They take you in a certain direction, and you have to follow their whatever their dictates are, and the Valerie Simpson. Valerie Simpson is a classical pianist, first of all, and the Diane Ross version is a classical
Yeah.
feeling. It's symphonic, you know.
Yeah,
Whereas the Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye is just a R&B, just a hard R&B feel.
yeah. But both of them were hits.
Yes, yes,
Both
yes,
of both of them were hits, and
yes.
I just you were at Motown how many years
11 years.
until they left?
Yes,
Until they
yes,
left,
yes.
and I think I heard you tell a story about how they left. It kind of abruptly happened.
Well, to us it was. Now they had behind the scenes. They had all kinds of plans going on, but uh, when we came for a recording session that morning, there was a sign on the door saying all sessions canceled. Everything's canceled. And we was just standing there, everybody dumbfounded, trying to figure out what happened. Yeah.
Wow, it's like
Just that
somebody
sudden.
pulled the
Yeah.
rug out
Yeah.
from under you, just
Yes.
like
It
that.
was just that sudden. But you know, Barry had aspirations of doing film and in Broadway and just bigger than what we were doing here in Detroit, where he should have kept Detroit. I feel he should have kept Detroit going.
Well, I
You
do
know.
too, because
Yeah.
even now you know that
Yeah.
there's so much talent here.
That's right. That's right.
So much talent. Well, oh, go
I
on.
want to speak about what becomes of the brokenhearted. There's a little bit more to the story.
Oh,
all right?
please. You know, I love that.
Okay, so we did the music, right? And William Weatherspoon and James Dean, they came up with all the lyrics and the melody. So it was like a magic happening. It was like a chemistry that came together. That song. I didn't know where it was going. They didn't know what to expect from me when I did the music, and it all just came together like that, like magic.
I walk in shadows, searching for light.
Yeah,
Cold
great
and
lyrics.
alone, no comfort in sight.
Great lyrics.
Don't let me go crazy on those lyrics. I mean, honestly, I'm bursting here. Okay, Tears of a Clown.
Yes.
That
yes.
was, I heard Smokey tell the story about the particular lyric, just like Pagliacci did. I keep my sadness hid, and how he
Great
was
poet.
at oh gosh, yes, how he was at Cass Tech, and they were studying
Yes.
about Pagliacci, the
Yes.
clown
Yes.
that
yes.
smiled, but he was sad on the inside.
Exactly.
So he put that into the lyrics. He was such a great he is such a great poet.
Well, the Beatles called him the greatest.
Yes, they did. They
And
do.
that's quite an honor.
They do. Now, I'm sure he had thousands of songs.
Oh, he's a prolific writer. Oh, yes.
So what did you do on that song?
I did the sweetening again, the orchestral instrument, the bassoon, which you hear in the front.
Right.
It gives it that light feel. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a call? Well, we have a call in a
Okay.
minute, but
All
as soon as she's ready to give it to us and stuff.
And
So
you know, my family really inspired me to come up with all that music. See, you know,
Right.
They always inspired me. You know, they always
We have a call?
backed me. Okay.
good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Miss Perryman. How are you?
I'm just fine, thanks. Who am I speaking with?
This is Greg.
Hi, Greg.
And my question to your guest was, the songs that he says he wrote, he has the publishing rights or Barry Gordy?
Barry Gordy, Jobet Music. You heard of Jobet Music? One of the greatest publishing companies in the
Yes,
world. You've heard of Jobet?
yes.
Okay. Everything went to Jobet. And it was well, we were really pleased that we had a position there and could write our songs. So we didn't squabble about publishing or anything like it. We were grateful that we had a platform to perform our creative duties. Yeah. So
So
we
I guess
didn't.
the
Yeah.
question is, do you receive any royalties from those songs?
Oh, sure, sure. As we're speaking now, there's a copyright period that has ended, or is nearing ended. 56 years, right? So I've an attorney who's trying to give me those publishing rights as we speak. It's funny you should mention that.
Okay.
But
All right, thank you.
for 56 years, it went to Joe Bed, all the publishing. Okay.
Okay, Greg. Thank you. Yep. Oh, well, that's interesting to know because we've heard a million stories.
Yes.
There are a million
Yes.
stories in this naked city about that. So after
Yeah.
you left Motown, I see that you worked on like Car Wash, the song Car Wash.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
most surprised, but now that I listened to the song in my head, most surprised that you worked on Never Too Much by Luther
Luther.
Vandross.
Right.
Tell me, how did it feel when you would hear the songs on the radio or whatever, or the
Well,
artists on television after you all had finished? How did it feel?
well, I was always grateful for and happy for the artist but I'm a perfectionist. I always would say, I wish I had one more shot at that song all the time. Being a perfectionist. But the marketplace spoke for itself.
Yeah.
It just told the whole story.
So you would say, I would tighten it up here or there.
Exactly. Oh, I always hear changes. I
Oh,
always
I know.
hear new stuff.
I
Yeah.
understand. I
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
Also, let's kind of bring it up to date now.
Yes.
You worked on I believe I Could Fly by R.
Yes.
Kelly. Now,
Exactly.
how did that relationship happen?
Well, Barry Hankerson was R. Kelly's manager.
Right.
Okay, so Barry put me with R. Kelly. R. Kelly was looking to get a little different feel and sound on top of his music out of Chicago. And what's amazing is that I worked with R. Kelly 15 years. He never came to Detroit to conduct a session with me. He always sent the multi-track tapes by FedEx overnight. We put the music on with the Detroit Symphony, and
Really?
FedExed it back the next day. I met him at a concert at Olympia 15 years later.
Olympia.
Olympia. We never set foot in the studio together. Never worked together. No.
And Step in the Name of Love.
Yes. We always talked by phone for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was Barry Hankerson who
Yes.
created the relationship.
Yes, yes.
That's really, really
And
interesting.
R. Kelly has a venturesome creativity about
Yes,
him.
he sure does.
Yes. Yeah.
He surely,
Yeah.
surely does.
So it all worked fine.
So you worked with the Doobie Brothers?
Oh yes, oh yes. Now I didn't meet them directly. I worked through the producer.
Right,
Okay,
right.
the producer brought me music, and I just did the music and went on to the next project. Yeah.
You're so low key. You're so low. And I see on here Carly Simon, who's someone I really
yes.
admire.
Oh yes, yes. Now it was the same process. The producer brought me the music, but I've been blessed to get good product. A lot of arrangers don't get good product to work with. See, so I've been working with major artists, major producers, major record labels for 50 years, 52 years now. Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
so
that's a blessing.
prolific. And I guess this kind of is coupled a little bit with Black history and all of this because
Yes.
of the fact that you have But you're still working.
Oh yes,
You're
yes.
still working.
Thank goodness.
Oh, I
Thank goodness.
know.
The business has changed,
Yes.
so we have to make adjustments.
Oh, we have a call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
Good morning.
hi. Who am I speaking with?
This is Gloria Ridgeway. Hi,
Hey,
Brenda.
Gloria
Hi,
Ridgway. I
Paul.
love you, Gloria. Okay.
Hi,
You
you
know I
guys.
love
First of
you.
all, you all look great.
Oh,
Paul, you
thank
look
you.
great. Brenda, you look
Doesn't she?
beautiful.
Yes, yes. Doesn't she?
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
my goodness. I'm so
Well,
happy, Paul, you're finally on that show. Brenda talked
yes.
about you
She's
getting
been
on that
trying.
show forever.
I mean,
She's
I
been trying a
tried.
long
People
time.
don't know my effort.
She
And
never quits.
no, I
Okay.
don't. I don't.
Very persistent, which is a good thing,
My daddy.
I know.
Yes.
Well, listen, I'm not going to
Wait,
hold you guys. I'm just calling to say I'm
Glory.
enjoying the show. I'm enjoying hearing all the great things that Paul has done. But I just want to say, Paul, thank you for always being good to the Ridgeway sisters no matter what. Over the years, we would run into each other at different recording studios and different recording sessions. I can't even name all the people,
Well, you
but
all are the
every
best.
time we come in there, Paul was always
Yeah.
just beautiful to me and my sisters. And I just want to
Gloria.
say I love you and I'm so proud of you.
Can I?
Glory. Go on.
Can I say something about the Ridgeway sisters?
Please.
Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
goodness! You talking about just being
Professional.
professional and just and being a part of under all conditions and positive and giving people great product.
Wow.
Love y'all.
Love you
Yes,
Gloria.
too.
yes,
Gloria, remember what you told me about the first time you all saw Paul? You all were in a hallway or something like that. You had to
Oh
sit.
yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't the first time, but
Oh,
it was the first time we discovered something about Paul. Paul, you remember Sound Suite Studio?
Do I ever? Mike Grace,
Yeah.
it sounds sweet. Yes.
Yeah, it's
A
over
real
there on
pioneer.
Puritan.
Yes. Yes.
We were called in for a session. I think it was Mike Powell had called us in. I can't even remember
Yes.
the artist, but you were in like the lobby, and we were waiting to go in and do our part. And we saw you. You were talking to us, but at the same time, you were writing. This man was writing the arrangements to some song without an instrument.
Without a
He
piano.
was
I never use a piano. No.
We were amazed. This guy is a genius.
Everybody has a gift. That happens to be mine.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And more so than his talent, and I'm going to get off the phone. He is just as humble and sweet as he is. I mean, he is just a doll. He really is.
I'm around such wonderful people, such as the Ridgeways,
Oh,
and all my musician family. I love my musicians.
oh yeah,
Without musicians, we don't have all the good music we have. See,
I know,
so we
I
got to give it
know.
up for those musicians, absolutely, and engineers. Got to give it
Yeah,
up for
that's
all of them.
true.
Yeah,
And producers.
and background singers and lead singers.
I know,
The
right?
Ridgeway sisters, the Andantes, all those good folks. I got
Yes,
to give it up.
yes.
Yeah,
Well, all right,
But
guys. I love
yes,
you both.
love you,
love you,
Gloria. Love you
Gloria.
much.
Thank you
All
for
right.
calling. Thank you for
All
Give the
calling.
righty.
give the family my
Okay.
love, okay?
I will.
Thank you, dear.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
They,
That's an
they were
interesting
such a
call.
great blend of.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. I mean, they could look at each other and know what they needed to do.
Oh,
They
just
didn't have
wonderful.
to direct
Wonderful.
and say you do this, you do that. They automatically did it, just
They were
instinctively.
wonderful.
See?
I met them. I
Yes.
was directing. I was asked to direct this play,
Yes.
and I met them on the play.
Yes.
And we've been friends. That was 1985,
Uh-huh.
and we've been friends since. And anytime I had like a winter break, they come over and spend the whole day with me. And
That's
we
the way they
just
were.
catching up and gossiping and all of that. And I was so sad about Esther and Gracie,
Yes,
and
yes,
all. But Gloria and I, we
yes.
stay in constant touch and
And
all.
Gloria is so strong to have all the tragedy around her, you know. But she knows it's all for good reason. It's made her stronger.
Yes, she's a wonderful, wonderful
Yes,
woman who wants to write the
yes,
autobiography of the Ridgeway
yes.
sisters.
It's none too soon.
I know, I know. We only just have a couple of more minutes left because,
Yes,
I have another Paul Reiser on. I have Paul Reiser
yes,
Jr. This is Paul Reiser Sr. And Paul Reiser Jr. is going
yes,
to take us so far into the future.
yes,
But
yes.
I had one or two more questions. Right now, are you working on some projects?
Yes, getting ready to do Kim. So it's all in the pre-production stage. So
Right.
it's waiting. We searching for songs and material, of course.
Oh, that's great.
So
Now,
you people out there, submit your songs, okay? Kim wants songs. All right.
well,
Oh,
I
oh.
can make some stuff into songs if you tell me what I got to do. I told you, you got to
You
tell
probably
me.
a great songwriter.
If you
Oh
tell
yeah.
me what to do, I mean,
Yes.
I can
Yes.
I can put it together. I can learn anything.
I know
I
you
can
can.
learn anything. And we all grew up here in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
And like
This
you
is the
said,
hub for so
and
much creativity.
there's something you said, and that was that Barry Gordy should have left something here.
He should have left that Hitsville building. He should have left all that in place that it took 12, 13 years to put in place. It should have been left. And then a branch started out in California.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
I
should have
agree.
happened.
I agree.
You know,
I
because
agree.
it became totally detached once they disbanded and just left. He had his aspirations. He had his ideals and goals. So you have to respect that.
Well, I'm going to ask you one last question, and it's about my favorite group, the Temptations. Now, tell me this: how are they to work with?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. When you hear about the Motown family, it's a Motown family. Okay, the Temptations were probably the real brotherhood of the Motown family. Smokey, the Temptations, Diana Ross Supremes, Stevie, literal family. The Funk
Right.
Brothers.
Right.
Okay? Oh,
Right,
yes.
right. It's just because I don't think without the Funk Brothers, we would not have realized the beauty of those songs.
That's right.
And the Funk Brothers seem to be, you're talking about a brotherhood.
That's right.
That was a real brotherhood, and just being able to kind of feed off of each other and so
That's
forth.
exactly what it is. And we miss that today in the music.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
pieced together here and there, and they call it their music, their ideas, and it's samples a lot of times.
Yeah, and a lot of
See?
people, young
Yeah.
people, when I tell them, I say, you don't know what
Yeah.
music is. I
We're going to
mean,
bring it back now.
I'll be there.
soon.
I'm riding aboard that
With
horse.
the help of PR Jr.,
Yes,
okay? We're going to bring it back.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to get a promise from this man. I wish you'd come back one day.
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh,
Love to.
thank
so
you.
much more to tell.
I know so much
Yes, so
more,
much more.
man. I could have taken my whole 2 hours on this man. But thank you very much.
Oh,
finally,
my pleasure's
finally, I've been trying to get
bless
him for
you.
3 years, and
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
he's here.
And I'm coming back.
Okay, and now, you got to tell me about this one project we talked about too, and I'd be really excited about that.
Now, that's the National Theater.
The National Theater,
It's
and then that
coming.
other thing by Tommy Butler.
Oh, yeah, Selma.
Okay.
Oh, it was way ahead of its time.
We'll talk about that
We
too
will.
next time.
Yes.
We'll be back in just a moment with Paul Reiser Jr. Thank you again.